up, Vegas Sports Nation? Welcome to the Vegas Sports Scene. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry. Happy weekend, happy Easter weekend. I hope everybody's ready for the Easter Bunny tomorrow. I know I am not. I'm never ready for the Easter Bunny. Holidays make me nervous, except for Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. There's several food football family. You got the 3 F's and 4 F's. You got the fry. So Thanksgiving's awesome. I love Thanksgiving. All the other holidays, struggle. It's a struggle, especially with kids. So we got comments rolling in already. Our boy Adam Glenn checking in. What's up, Adam? I hope everything's going well for you. I hope you're ready for Easter tomorrow. Easter, you got the Easter ham in the oven and all the trimmings and whatever and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this started. Get it kicked off here. Before I get into the show, I want to remind everybody, go check out our new sponsor, Monkey Colt Coffee. If you didn't see my review on the bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, I'll tell you what, it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't have a coffee maker here anymore at home, but I bought their cold brew pitcher on their website at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And so I did it that way. It was 12 scoops of 12 tablespoons of a coffee to 30 ounces of water. Put it in the refrigerator. I left it in for 24 hours because I didn't want to. It says leave it overnight. When I made it, it would have been overnight. I work at night, so I wasn't going to drink it in the morning. I'd be all wired and having a hard time to sleep. So I left it for about 24 hours. So I had it for work the next day. I hammered it, and I'll tell you what, man, that gave me a nice boost for the rest of the shift. Once I finished it up, it tastes really, really good. I really liked it, so I'm gonna make another pitcher when I go back to work after the holiday here, and try to get my ass in gear. I'm gonna take these spectacles off. I see a glare and it's pissing me off. I don't like it. I don't like the glare. So make sure you go out on their website, monkeycoltcoffee.com. Check out their other products. They got like a rum cake. They have swag, shirts and stuff like that. Like I said about the cold brew pitcher and stuff. So make sure you check that out. And the bourbon chocolate chip. And they also have a new flavor of coffee coming out real soon. Toasted coconut rum, I believe, something like that. So I'm really excited to try that out. At monkeycoltcoffee.com. At checkout, put in OOTB Sports for a discount, and you'll let us know how you like it. So a couple more comments before I get too far in here. Maiko Spencer, what's up, Bat Dude? Easter Bunny is overrated. The turkey's where it's at. Hell yeah. Hashtag Monkey Colt Coffee, Monkey Colt Coffee Corporation. So yeah, check their website out, monkeycoltcoffee.com. They're also on all sorts of social media platforms. So give them a follow and stuff like that, and tell them the Bat Fried Out of the Box Sports sent you. All righty, let's get this show on the road. So I'll start off. I wasn't on last week, so a little bit back on some Raider news, some signings and stuff like that. So of course I got my notes because that's how I roll, because I can't remember shit. Like I said, I had such a poor memory. I guess I played football without my helmet too often. I don't know what the hell it is, but anyway. So a couple of signings. The Raiders signed defensive tackle John Jenkins out of Miami just for some depth and stuff like that. Re-signed guard Alex Bars. He was up and down last year. Overall, a pretty decent season from Alex Bars. We also signed, which is a very interesting one, wide receiver DeAndre Carter from the Chargers. Last season was his best season in the league so far. 46 catches, 538 yards, 3 touchdowns. But his biggest attribute is his special teams play. He's 29 punt returns last year for 339 yards, 11.7 average, and 26 kick returns for 497 yards with a 19.1 average, and he was second in the league in punt return average. So that tells me with a guy like this, he's shifty, he's quick, not very big. So that tells me that I wouldn't expect to see Hunter Renfrow returning punts much anymore, which is good. Hunter does a good job returning kicks, returning punts, but he's one of our better wide receivers. You don't want him out there, risking injury for a punt return or whatever. Very sure-handed Hunter Renfrow is, and from everything that I've read on DeAndre Carter, he's the same exact way. And if Hunter does go down, we do have DeAndre Carter to fill in. So I really like our wide receiver room. I really think we're pretty solid there with the acquisitions that we've made this offseason. And so I wouldn't expect the Raiders to go too much wide receiver. They might still pick up one because it's just so tempting. And so, yeah. Another comment here. Maiko Spencer says, also make sure you subscribe to the Out of the Box Sports Twitter and Facebook page and YouTube page. We will be doing a giveaway soon with Monkey Coke Coffee, but you need to subscribe to all 3 to win. So make sure you're doing that. Subscribe to all 3 and Monkey Coke Coffee, and we will be doing some giveaways coming up here really soon. So make sure you subscribe to all 3. You'll know when it's going to happen. But pretty much that's how it rolls. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow the pages, subscribe to the pages or channels or whatever, and do the same for Monkey Cold Coffee on Twitter, Facebook. I don't think they're on YouTube, but I could be wrong. I have not searched for them on the YouTube. So watch for giveaways coming up here very soon. We'll start doing that stuff, and we also have a new sponsor coming up pretty soon also. So we'll get into that more when it's hashed out and stuff like that. I'll reveal as to who it is. But we're very, very excited about it. We talked to the man in charge last night, and very excited about what we could do for them and what they could do for us. So as soon as we get a little bit more hashed out, I think we can reveal as to who our next sponsor is. So that's the Raider news I have. So I'm going to go into the draft a little bit. Before I do that, I want to let you guys know I am not a draft expert. All right, I don't watch a whole lot of college football. I do watch college football, but a lot of the times it's just if I see a rivalry game, I'll watch a rivalry game. I'm a Pitt fan. I don't get a lot of Pitt games on TV. When Pitt is on, I will watch Pitt, but they're not on TV a lot. It's usually Penn State, which is fine. I like Penn State. I'm a Pennsylvania guy, but I prefer Pitt. So I don't follow a whole lot of college football. I like watching the good games, like if you see like an Alabama LSU game. I don't know the players playing, but I enjoy watching those games. Good rivalry, Florida State, Miami, stuff like that. Oklahoma, Texas, Notre Dame, and pretty much everybody on their schedule. Because Notre Dame seems like have a rival with every Notre Dame, USC, Notre Dame, Penn State, Notre Dame. And your mother, I don't know. So this is just stuff that some research that I did, guys that I liked, who I think the Raiders should look at, who the Raiders should go for. Eileen checking in. We love Eileen. She's always checking into all of our shows. So hello there. More than most of the experts out there. I agree. And that's not saying much for those experts. I'll tell you that. Co-host Rob here. He's off on a sabbatical right now. Hopefully we get Rob back in the near future. Got a lot on his plate right now. So take care of yourself first, and then always welcome back with open arms here, buddy. Says, what's up, Bat Fry, my brother from another mother? There he is. Fry Foundation for life, brother. Maiko says, well, Bat Fry need to come up, and we can get a Pitt game. Sooner or later, I'd like to get out to see Pitt play. Like I said about Pitt, West Virginia, the backyard brawl, when we were talking about that yesterday. That's always a game that I wanted to go to. That they used to play that like last game of the season. So sometimes you'd have like the snow coming down, and you'd be in West Virginia in the mountains, or you'd be out there in Pittsburgh, and blue collar Pittsburgh. It's the grittiness, the toughness, and stuff like that. But then they went away from it once West Virginia went to the Big 12 and Pitt's in the ACC. kind of lost that game, but now they I guess they re-upped it and they played it again last year. And there's that, I can't remember. I feel like West Virginia won that game, but I can't remember exactly. But I know it was a wild ass game. Like, it was just back and forth, and huge points if I remember correctly. And so yeah, so it's always a great time. I'd love to see Pitt, West Virginia. That's like almost like a bucket list type of game for me. I'd live, college football wise, I'd like to go see Notre Dame play at Notre Dame, at their home stadium. I'd like to I've been up to the Penn State Stadium, but I'd like to see like a Penn State and a big school. I went to see Penn State Northwestern. Northwestern was very bad, but it was still neat to see. But I'd like to go there, like a Penn State, Ohio State whiteout game. That's like a bucket list type of thing. I'd like to go to a Tennessee game. That seems like a great atmosphere. Michigan. So yeah. So one day I'll have to get out there for a game. It's tough, it's everything costs money, and money is it's hard to come by sometimes. Brother Rob says, the mayor of Las Vegas says, I feel like it's pretty crazy in Morgantown for West Virginia games, as well as they light couches on fire. Dear Lord, hillbillies, that's what I tell you. Hillbillies, mountain people lighting couches on fire. Maiko says Pitt at Notre Dame, October 28th. That's one I'd like to see. That's a good rivalry game. And Rob says, I'll do a Notre Dame trip with you. One day, Rob, we'll have to get together and we'll head out to the old Golden Dome there, touchdown Jesus and all that good stuff. Maiko says Hokies is my favorite. Enter Sandman, has a stadium rocking. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I didn't know they did that. I seen clips last year with the Enter Sandman and Virginia Tech. I thought that was really neat looking. Like, there's so many different college traditions that you don't know about. Like the Texas A&M where they interlock arms, like one like line leans this way, the other one goes this way. It's just like a wave going back and forth. They're really neat looking stuff. Like the whole 12th man thing out there in Texas A&M also, really cool stuff. I'd like to see like some of those rivalry games. Sometimes like the Civil War between Oregon State, that gets nuts once in a while. Minnesota, Michigan, that can get crazy. I think that's is that the Paul Bunyan game? I'm not sure if that's Minnesota, Michigan, or if that's Minnesota, Wisconsin. I can't remember now, but yeah, a lot of cool rivalry games. When they have stuff like that are pretty cool. Clemson runs down the hill. I tell you, well, that's the one thing, Paul. So Rob would know this because Rob's been to our high school, obviously, but he's been to our football games, and so we'd you have all the fans would do a line out to the field from the locker room to slap all the players on the shoulder pads. And it was always downhill. And so the tips of our spikes had had some metal on it. So when you walk on macadam, it's slippery. So the coach always said, no running downhill, you're going to fall. And of course, there's always guys, they're all antsy. You just got your pep speech from your coach. They want to start running down the hill. Oh, then, of course, there's one or two that start sliding and slipping. Well, then they're grabbing somebody and going down. It's just, I could never understand that. Me, I'm kind of like walking sideways, trying to get my fat ass down the hill just so I don't get hurt. I never liked the whole running downhill thing. So back to the Raider draft. So what I did, I went online. I was checking some other guys' mock drafts out, who they think that the Raiders could take. So I'm gonna read some of those off. Who said it and who they think that the Raiders are going to take. So Jordan Reed from ESPN, Deontay Lee, and Nate Tice from The Athletic. They think the Raiders are going to take Will Levis with their first pick. Mike Tannenbaum was saying Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon. Bucky Brooks was also saying Christian Gonzalez, as well as Keith Sanchez from the Draft Network. He was also saying Christian Gonzalez. Ryan Wilson from CBS Sports was thinking defensive lineman Myles Murphy from Clemson and an edge rusher, which I'm not finding. Like, Raiders don't really need an edge rusher. We're pretty well. If we just get our edge rushers to rush, besides Max Crosby, we'd be fine. But we have quite a few edge rushers. Eric Edholm from NFL.com was thinking Will Levis. Brad Spielberg from Pro Football Focus was thinking Jalen Carter, defensive lineman from Georgia. Now, recently the Raiders, it was reported that the Raiders said that they are not interested in Jalen Carter, pretty much due to his legal issues. It's supposed to be all taken care of, but it's some pretty serious stuff that he was wrapped up into. But the Raiders came out and said, no, we never said that. That's a lot of it basically comes down to a lot of draft talk. It's, oh, we want this guy, and, oh, we don't want him, just to get other teams kind of off the scent there. So you never know. With his legal troubles, you don't know. He's going to fall. I'd be surprised if he didn't fall, but we'll have to see. I think Jalen Carter is going to fall. I don't see him falling out of the first round, but I don't think the Raiders will take him either. Chad Reuter from NFL.com was thinking Tyree Wilson, another edge rusher from Texas Tech. Charles Davis from NFL.com was thinking Devin Witherspoon, a cornerback from Illinois. And FanSided had the Raiders taking Jalen Carter first and stuff like that. So those are a couple of the experts and what they were thinking the Raiders might do with their first pick. Maiko says, all right, got to run UFC 287. Time to make the money. Great show, brother. Good luck, Paul. Or Maiko. I didn't say Paul. I swear to God, I didn't say Paul. It's Maiko. So now I'm going to go over, some of the guys that I think the Raiders could potentially look at, and then I'm going to break it down round 1, 2, 3, who I think they're going to take. I have a couple different options, just because it's really hard. It's just decide, like I know who I want them to take, and that's kind of what I based it off of. But so a lot of people are saying the Raiders are going to take a quarterback with their first pick, or their second pick. So I decided to look at a couple of quarterbacks that there's a potential that they may take, and I kind of break them down a little bit. So they were saying a lot of people were saying Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida, that the Raiders are big fans of. And again, that's all draft talk. But he had a really good combine, setting a record for the vertical and the broad jump. Good job, yeah. T-shirt and shorts, champion there. That's that stuff. To me doesn't. He had a 4.40. That does matter a little bit when you have pads on and stuff like that. It's a different story. What matters to me are what he did. Not a whole lot of stats, but last year for Florida, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 2,549 yards. This is the one that really opens my eyes. His completion percentage. He threw for 100. He had 176 completions out of 327 attempts. That's a 53.8% completion percentage. That's not good enough. That's 150% not good enough. This guy screams Jamarcus Russell to me all over again, because Jamarcus Russell was supposed to be a freak quarterback, huge arm, super athletic, but it turned out that he was super lazy also. So I mean, with a completion percentage of 53.8, you got to be joking. He should keep his ass in college for another year, in my opinion, and really build those stats up. Instead of winning the spandex Olympics there at the combine. Maiko says April 27th, live draft Out of the Box Sports. FYI, Paul is banned for life. I know Paul is banned for life, Maiko, and it was a Freudian slip, as it were. James checking in. What's up, James? How you doing, buddy? I got to build a defense. I agree 100%. Witherspoon or Gonzalez, 2 great corners. And I'll get to them in my picks, and you'll see kind of where I'm leaning with that one. Vegas Rob checking in. Sign Jimmy G. He'll be a stopgap till next year. We'll draft a quarterback next year. I agree to a point, Rob. I think it depends on a lot on what happens this season coming up. If the Raiders don't draft a quarterback this year, and Jimmy G has a terrific season, I don't think they draft a quarterback for a couple of years. Jimmy G's not that old. I'm not exactly sure his age. Like he's probably early 30s. Late 20, early 30s, somewhere around there. So he's not super old. He is injury prone, but if he has a terrific season where he stays healthy, gets the ball, into the end zone, not many turnovers, I could see the Raiders looking to fill needs elsewhere. Depending on what we do this year and what needs pop up throughout the season next year. But if he has an okay season to bad season, I could absolutely see them drafting a quarterback next year if they don't do it this year. I mean, from everything that I heard from guys that watch college football and College Football Frenzy, our show on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Next year's quarterback class is supposed to be better than this year's quarterback class. And from stuff that I was reading, trying to do some research on the draft coming up, a lot of the experts were saying the only quarterbacks that are really worth a damn is our CJ Stroud and Brian. What the hell's his name? Is it Brian Young? The kid from Alabama. I can't think of his name right now. There it is. It pops up every damn time. It's freaking drives me nuts. I feel like it's Brian Young, but I'm probably way off. So that's what I'm thinking. A lot of it depends on if they don't draft one this year. A lot of it depends on what Jimmy G does next season. If he has a great year, they may just forego that and wait another season, a season or two, and see. I mean, if the Raiders have a good season, you're picking late in the draft anyway. But if they have a shit season, that means there we go. Eileen to the rescue again. I love you, Eileen. Fantastic. Bryce Young. I was close. I said Bryce Young. That's pretty damn close for me. So that's can Rob. They'll have an earlier pick then if they do shitty. That means Jimmy G had a crap year. So it would make more sense in my opinion. So Richardson. The other quarterback a lot of people are saying the Raiders are Will Levis. Is Will Levis from Kentucky. 6'4", 229 pounds. Same height as Richardson, a little bit lighter. His completion percentage 65.4, a bit better. 185 completions out of 283 attempts. 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 2,406 yards. So the production wasn't really nothing eye-popping there out of Will Levis. Another guy that's kind of jumping up boards because of Spandex Olympics there at the combine. So it's like it's a little bit better than what Richardson is, but not a whole lot better. So it's just one of those things. And then a guy I kind of like. Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, 6'3", 217, super athletic, was fast, tore his ACL. That's the issue there. But completion percentage of 69.6. That's 229 attempts, 329 completion. 229 completions out of 329 attempts. That's what I meant to say. 3,135 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. 104 rushes, 430 rush yards for 5 touchdowns there, and he only played in 11 games. So that's who I like. If I don't like the Raiders taking a quarterback at 1. To be 100% honest with you, I don't like Raiders taking a quarterback there. Rob says women are going nuts over Jimmy G. Lots of jerseys will be bought. Celeste Atkins is a fan. Looks like I'll be buying her a fucking Jimmy G jersey and 1 F-bomb for the night. Put the quarter in a jar, Rob. Put the quarter in a swear jar, buddy. You got 2 more to go. James says if quarterback is the pick, what about the Tennessee? Yep, there we go. What about the Tennessee quarterback? Check his knee thoroughly first. Yes, and that's why. I don't. It'll ruin my draft picks. I don't want to. I don't want to leave it out of the cat out of the bag yet. But I do like him. I do like Hendon Hooker. And the thing is that with a torn ACL, he wouldn't have to play right away. Usually, I've talked about this before for quarterbacks and running backs. It seems like it takes them a season before they're fully back to what they were before after an ACL injury. Just trying to get your feet back under you, getting used to the contact and getting comfortable with getting hit again and stuff. So yeah, ACL. isn't as major as it was back in the day. Now, if you're getting the ACL, MCL, PCL, you're getting a whole thing shredded in there. I think he was just an ACL. Yeah, it's concerning, but I think it's 100% doable. So a lot of the other experts were saying the Raiders could be looking at, of course, it's a Jalen Carter, BJ Ovalari, edge rusher from LSU, Brian Brisset from Clemson, defensive tackle, Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama, another defensive lineman, and Kalaja Cansey from Pitt. A couple cornerbacks, some of the experts were saying were Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, Cam Smith, and Kaylee Ringo. A couple of the offensive linemen, Paris Johnson, Peter Skoronski, and Steve Avila. So those are just like some of the guys that I was reading up on, the experts and stuff like that. Those are the guys that the names that kept popping up. So I kind of broke that down, looking at like, all right, like what are some of these guys I think I would like to see the Raiders get that may fit well on the team. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start. So the Raiders picks this year, they have, I think I counted 12 or 13. Their first round pick is a 7th, second round 38th pick, a third round 70th pick, another third round 100th pick from the Giants for the Waller trade, fourth round 109 pick, fifth round 141, another fifth round from Atlanta 144, another fifth round from a compensatory pick 174. Sixth round, 204. Another sixth round. The sixth round, 204 is from Dallas. Sixth round, 214 compensatory. Seventh round, 220 from the Cards. And the seventh round, 231 from the Patriots. Which, with all the Patriots we have on our team, you'd think we'd have more goddamn picks from the freaking Patriots. But no, that's all we got from the Patriots. 1 7th round pick. All these. I ain't gonna get into it. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I did 3 separate first round, second round, third round drafts here. So I'm going to do one set, then I'll do another set, and then I'll do another set. That's all I'm going to do. That's how it's going to work, and we'll let the cards lie where they fall, whatever the hell that means. I don't know. I think I just made that up, to be honest with you. So round 1 with the first set. I have the Raiders taken with their 7th pick. Devin Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois. Fiery kid, high IQ, very smart. He gets in the face of the wide receiver, very good at bump and run, fast. So I, everything I read on him, was a lot of high grades for him, a junior out of Illinois. So I like him. Round 2. I have the Raiders taking Kalaja Cansey, that defensive tackle from Pitt. And he gets a lot of comparisons to Aaron Donald, who was also from Pitt. Looks like a kind of like an undersized guy there in the middle of the defense. Not super. Usually your defensive tackles, are like 6'2", 6'3", 330, 340 pounds. Just a big old fat mess in there, just stopping the ball. Aaron Donald is super athletic. He's a good bit undersized to what that you picture your defensive tackle being. And from everything that I've read and everything I understand, all the video that I've seen also, Kalaja Cansey kind of falls into that line. So he's getting a lot of comparisons to that. High motor kid, explosive off the ball. The only downside that I've read so far has been he's on the smaller side. And if the offensive linemen get into him, he's pushed back. He gets pushed back a bit, and that's part of being smaller. So that's something to work on. Maybe bulk up a little bit more. James says the tight end I love is the Georgia monster, 6'7", 270 pounds. Great red zone weapon. Jesus Christ, 6'7", 270 pounds. That's a freak. Yeah, that is a monster. I think I remember watching him play in the national championship game. James, send me his name if you can. I can't remember what it is. If you know what it is, anyway, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So round 3, I have So round one was Devin Witherspoon, 2, Kalijah Kancey from Pitt. Round 3, for my first set, I have the Raiders taking Hendon Hooker. So that's where the quarterback, I think there's a chance he could fall to 3. So I think if the Raiders take a cornerback with their first pick, they should go defensive line with their second pick. If if there's a couple of these defensive linemen are still there, and if Hooker happens to be there at third round, I mean that'd be awesome. I think that'd be a great pickup for the Raiders with the third round pick. So that's my first set of draft picks that I was looking at. We'll start all over again and do the second. Let's say second grouping. So the second grouping again, I had them taking a cornerback. A huge need for us. I have a hell of a time stopping the pass. So I have them taking Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. And again, from everything I've read, all upside with this kid. Very fast, 4.38 40. Very good in man coverage. It doesn't get his head around very fast. So that's one thing to work on. But he was only a sophomore, I believe. I think do I have that written down? Yeah, it's a sophomore coming out of Oregon, so very young player. Can learn a lot. So we'll have to. I think either he or Witherspoon's a home run, in my opinion. But both guys seem to be, from everything that I've read, huge upside, and we need a defensive back. We absolutely 100%. Rock Ya-Sin has not been re-signed. And he was very up and down last year. So we need that other cornerback. And they're from everything I've read, these guys have the potential of being shut down corners. And so that's who I think they should go for round 1 in my second grouping here. Round 2, I have them taking Steve Avila, TCU inside offensive lineman. He played a lot of guard and center. So you like that he can go from one to another. I can't think of the word right now. I was drinking a little bit earlier today at the cornhole tournament for the Not Your Average Janes fundraiser. So everything's kind of swampy right now. So yeah, from everything I read, very strong, great feet, very good run blocker, very good pass blocker as well. He always keeps his eyes up. He doesn't like stunts and stuff like that, twists, doesn't really miss them much because his eyes are always up. I forgot to turn my alarm off. So it's Steve Avila, inside interior offensive lineman from TCU. A lot of upside for him. I believe he was also the captain, senior captain for TCU. So you look at that leadership, which is what you want from your offensive lineman, especially interior offensive lineman, your center and guards and stuff like that. You look to them to be a leader. A lot of times, you get that C on their chest. James says Darnell Washington is a Georgia tight end. Yes, that does ring a bell. Eileen says, okay, I'll ask, what did you drink? I was drinking Yingling Flight. I don't know. I think, Eileen, you're what? The New York, New Jersey area somewhere. So I don't know if you have Yingling Flight there, if you have Yingling at all. But I really, really like the Yingling Flight. I like all the Yingling products, to be honest with you. Yingling's from Pottsville, and that's where I'm from, is Pottsville. So that's kind of it's in the bottle actually. It's in the baby bottle when you're born. You got to drink Yingling out of the baby bottle. So it is what it is. So yeah, I was drinking Yingling Flight. It's not too many. Just came in your face. If Hook falls to the third, that should easily be the pick. Yeah, I agree. I don't see him dropping out of the second, but it would be nice. Yeah, and so. I agree. 100% came in your face. If he's there, absolutely, the Raiders need to grab him because I believe there's a huge upside. Very accurate passer, great deep ball. We'll have to wait and see if he is there, though. If he is, I think they should snatch him up. I don't think they should wait any longer after that first third round pick that they have. Hooker, yep, not hooked. Hooker. I knew what you meant. Rob Hefner says, what do you think of the Hoyer signing? Yeah, so that's the one thing I did not write down. The Raiders did sign Bobby Hoyer, another Patriot. as a backup quarterback, and whatever. It's so numb to the Patriot signings that it's kind of over. I'm over it. Eileen says, "Yep, we have it in the Bronx." Yeah, so if you ever get a chance, Eileen, try the Yuengling flight. It's really good. And during the summertime, last year they released, last 2 years I think it is, they released a mango beer. What the hell is it called? Was it Soaring Eagle or Roaring Eagle or something like that? That's pretty good. Yeah, that was a pretty good. If you're into the flavored beer, they came in some big ass cans too, so that was awesome. The mayor says Lager and Chesterfield for me with the Yuengling product line. You can't go wrong with Lager. That's their baby there. That's their cash cows, Lager. So I just did 2, so I'll go to round 3 of my second set. And round 3, I have them taking defensive lineman Brian Young from Alabama, another high motor guy. I like the high motor guys, much like Max Crosby, guys that just continuously put pressure, always pushing upfield. I like those guys that just don't stop. You don't see them out there struggling or anything like that. Like Max Crosby for an edge rusher, for the amount of pressure he's put on quarterbacks and the amount of plays that he's in on, he's out there every damn snap, it seems like. So, that's a hell of a motor. So I like seeing the high motor, especially on the line. From everything I read, he can get off the box well. Not very well against double teams. He is an undersized kind of guy for a defensive tackle. But I really like that high motor part of it. All right, so back to round 1 again for my final grouping here. So in the Raiders, if the Raiders don't take a cornerback with their first pick, I think they should go offensive line. So I have them taking Peter Skoronski from Northwestern, junior, a very good pass blocker, very athletic. Not overly great in the run. But from everything I read, he's gotten better with each year. So that's something you can absolutely work on. So if they don't go cornerback, if they don't go defense with their first pick, they should go offensive line. And that's who I think they should take with their first pick, is an offensive lineman. And then, which isn't a super sexy pick. We all, nobody like, oh, an offensive lineman, the big frumpy guy walking up there, doop, doop, doop. Nobody wants to see that, but it's smart. It's a need. Take the best player available. If that's a need, he's there. And the defensive guys that you want aren't there. Take them. Because I think it should be 100% defense first. 100% defense first with our first pick. But if the guys that you wanted are not there, then go to that next step. So round 2, I have the Raiders taking a defensive lineman, BJ Ovalari from LSU, junior. From the reports I've read, he's a pro-ready rusher, a really good burst, great off the line, great first step off the line, a lot of upside with him. So another high motor guy. So you kind of get that, that feel. I like the high motor guys there. I like them guys that put the pressure on the offensive linemen and put the pressure on the quarterbacks. Rob says offensive and defensive line need to be a priority in this draft. There's so many priorities. It's hard. So I think defensive line and cornerback, defensive back, I think are more important than the offensive line. Our offensive line isn't great, but I feel like it did much better than it did than what people expected it to. There were times where it was absolutely awful, god awful, but a lot of times I felt like they did well enough to give Carr a chance to get the ball out and stuff like that. I should he wasn't standing back there for 8 to 10 seconds or anything like that, picking his spot. But there was times where he had enough time to get the ball off and get it where it had to be. Because you figure some of these deep balls they're taking they're taking some time. And if you've seen past episodes before the season started, I talked about how our offensive line was ranked, I think 29th or 30th to start the season. And I said that they can't be doing five to seven drops, they should be doing 3 to 5 step drops and get the ball out fast. Well, what they go out to do, they do the 5 to 7 drops. They do those long drops where they got to hold those blocks a long time, and a lot of times they did very well. Actually, it was really surprising how well they did. If you go back and look at the stats, there's quite a few games, a lot of games where they didn't give up a sack and not many pressures. I mean, it was really impressive. Don't look at the last game because I think they gave up 6 sacks. But but before that, there's quite a few games where they didn't give up anything. Which and to have an elite rusher like Josh Jacobs putting up the numbers that he was, you kind of have to give him a little bit of credit. The offensive line. It's as much as they're much maligned by a lot of people. It's including myself. I was hard on him. Jermaine Ulemanor. I ripped him to shreds a bunch of times. Just getting beat like a drum all the time. But he got better. I feel like he got better throughout the season, and still a lot of penalties. But we're the Raiders. That's what we do. We do penalties. So we do penalties, and we give up a lot of points. That's the Raider way. That's been the Raider way for a long time, since the Super Bowl season. So round 2, like I said, BJ Ojulari. So then round 3, I would go Jair Brown, safety from Penn State. 10 picks the last 2 seasons. That's another thing that the Raiders have not gotten, or turnovers. We don't get many turnovers, especially out of our defensive secondary, our backfield, defensive backfield. Not a lot of turnovers at all, and it's you want those extra turns. We have our quarterback giving the ball up a lot. 17, 18 interceptions, whatever it was last year. And, giving the other team extra chances against our defense, we want to give our offense, extra reps. So, we need to get the ball, whether that's punching the ball out on a run or ball hawking and getting some interceptions. We just don't do it. We cannot, consistently get turnovers. And I don't know. I did say on a previous episode a couple shows ago how many interceptions we had last year, but I think we could count it on one hand. I feel like it was 4 or 5, and that was it. I mean, that's pitiful. I'm pretty sure we were probably near the bottom of the league in interceptions. We were near the bottom of the league, if not the bottom of the league, in sacks. And we have one of the premier pass rushers, but that's how crappy our rush was. Besides Max Crosby, it was bad. And so I have Jair Brown, safety from Penn State, another high motor guy. He gets a little overly aggressive, does miss some tackles. I think he had 13 missed tackles last season. Overly aggressive, playing the ball. So that can lead to interceptions. That can also lead to giving up some big plays. So that's, take the good with the bad with that situation. So those are my breakdowns for round 1, 2, and 3. Like I said, I have a couple groups here. I'll read them off again real quick. My round 1 picks, I had them taking Devin Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois, or Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon, or Peter Skoronski, offensive lineman from Northwestern. Round 2, I'd like to see them take Kalaja Kansi, defensive tackle from Pitt, or Steve Avila, interior offensive lineman from TCU, or BJ Ojulari, defensive lineman from LSU. Round 3, I'd like to see them, if hopefully still there, Hendon Hooker. I could see them using a second round pick also on him. But anyway, for my little mock here, Hendon Hooker, quarterback from Tennessee, or Brian Young, defensive lineman from Alabama, or Jair Brown, safety from Penn State. So that's what I got on that. The Raiders don't do well in the draft. It's been a long time since we actually hit early rounds out of the ballpark. I mean, Khalil Mack was a home run, but we traded him away. So, I mean, Amari Cooper was okay. I mean, we did get a first round pick back for him, but I don't think he's ever been really a top of the league type wide receiver, like an elite wide receiver in the league. He's been a good receiver in the league, but I don't think he's ever been elite or anything like that. I mean, like I just tremble. Whenever we get to the draft, my head starts going like Darius Hayward-Bade. It's like that Darius Hayward-Bade. I start like, oh my god, Robert Gallery. It's like, oh my god, no, Jamarcus Russell. So it's the Raiders don't do well early in the draft. They do seem like they do well middle to late rounds, which could be why we don't do very well. When all your starters are sixth or seventh round picks, it's you're not going to win many games. Yeah, so that's what I got on that. The draft is going to be it's going to be really interesting. I mean, there's always a chance if they do some trades. You never know. The latest one I seen pop up was I seen it on the Twitter. So I think it's just some Raider fans just BSing about it, just talking about it. But Raiders making a trade with the Arizona Cardinals for the swap first, or no, the Raiders would give them their first round pick this year, next year, and a couple other picks for DeAndre Hopkins, and I feel like it was their first round this year, but I could have been wrong. But again, if you're trading for DeAndre Hopkins and we're pretty well loaded at wide receiver, that means somebody's going to have to go. And I've mentioned it on here before. It always seems like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller's name kept popping up in trade rumors from stuff that I would read on the interwebs. And so does that mean that if we bring DeAndre Hopkins in, does that mean Hunter Renfrow's gone? It seemed like Hunter Renfrow didn't really thrive in Josh McDaniels' offense, and would that be good for Hunter Renfrow then if he did leave? From what I read, Hunter Renfrow's more of a feel your way through it kind of guy. Like he's out there running a route, and he feels like well, if I sit down here, I'm better. Whereas Josh McDaniels is run the goddamn route, I drew a 10-yard in cut, do the 10-yard in cut, whereas Hunter Renfrow might break it off at 5 and do an out. So it's is there a clash there? Is there something? I don't know. I figured if they were going to trade him, they would have traded him by now. But draft day is so funny. You never know what kind of draft day trades you're gonna see. You're gonna get. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun to watch. See who they're gonna pick. See who's gonna get traded and for what. Is Lamar Jackson gonna get traded? Are the Jets finally going to trade for Aaron Rodgers? What the hell's going on there? If they trade, if the Packers, if the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers on draft day, I feel like they're going to get raked over the coals by the Packers. Because you figure that's the last moment. Because it's they need a new quarterback. The Jets obviously need a new quarterback, and if it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers. Well, then they have to pick a quarterback. So the Packers are like, all right, this is it. You want Aaron? This is our terms. If you don't, well, good luck with another quarterback out of the draft. So, it's gonna be interesting. It's the first couple rounds. I don't know if anybody else out there likes the way they do the draft now. They do was it round 1 on Thursday, 2 and 3 on Friday. I think that's hot garbage. I feel like it should be the weekend. If not, Friday round 1. They may be like 2 and 3 on Saturday and the rest on Sunday, but I don't like it on Thursday and then Friday and then you got Saturday. I don't think they do it on Sunday anymore, but it's I'm not a big fan of that. I think it should be of the weekend or at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because the draft runs late. Also, I mean, it's all these picks are timed. You got so much time, but for some reason it runs late. I mean, how the hell does that work? You figure they'd be able to figure out. All right, this is when it starts, and this is when it's going to end, and maybe plus or minus 5 minutes here, but it's I guess commercials or whatever, but that doesn't it's I don't know. It drags on the first round, so it ends up being 11 o'clock or whatever by the time the first round's over. I'm not a big fan of the way they do it. Anyway, I said that a couple times now. Moving away from football. We'll go on to the Golden Knights, and if you know me, if you follow me on the Twitter machine, you know that I'm an LA Kings fan. I'm not a Golden Knights fan. I do root for the Golden Knights a bit because I do the Vegas show, and I do like some of their players. I like what the Golden Knights have done since they've been in the league. I think they, very competitive. I like the Golden Knights. I'm a Kings fan, so they're in the same division, so it just doesn't work out. To be honest with you. So, but anyway, so they had a big game the other day. The Golden Knights absolutely throttled the Kings. Before you knew it, it was 3-0. I think that the Golden Knights were up 5-0 at one point. They ended up beating the Kings 5-2. Kind of a bummer that Jonathan Quick didn't get a chance to play against the Kings, but it wasn't his turn in the rotation. So good for the Golden Knights to stick to it. They had Laurent Brossoit in goal, and he did a fantastic job stopping 30 out of 32 shots. Korpisalo did not play well for the Kings. And again, I don't. This isn't a Kings show, but I've said it. I talk about the Kings on the Bat Cave every other Wednesday. This Wednesday coming up, I'll be doing my Mets and Kings show. But anyway, the Kings are not very good in front of the net. I feel like defensively, they no physicality. They don't clear people out, and I think it leads to rebound chances and shots, and unnecessary unnecessary screens. So I feel like they need to be more physical. Anyway, to the Golden Knights, the hell of a job. From what their announcer, I was watching the game a little bit with their announcers, and they were saying that there's a new line they had out there with what the hell is it? I have it written down. Barbashev, Kessel, Barbashev, and Stevenson, and I think that line itself got the first 3 goals, and they're just all over the place. They're absolutely killing the Kings, that line. Phil Kessel and Barbashev and Stevenson. So it's if they continue with that line, now tonight they ended up losing in overtime, so they still get that point. The Golden Knights do. They lost in overtime in I think it was a shootout. It said to the Dallas Stars, who's I think they're leading their division, the Central. Out here in the West. So yeah. But yeah, Laurent Brossoit stopping 30 out of 32. Their last 10 games, the Golden Knights, they finished 3-1-1 in March with a loss to Edmonton, who's I've said it 100 times, and I'll scream it from the top of the hills, is the scariest team in the playoffs. They're hot right now. Skinner has been playing fantastic for in net for Edmonton, and of course all the offensive weapons. It's just, man, I'll tell you, they're scary as hell. It's and the way it's looking like my Kings are ending up getting them in the first round, just like last season. And last season they won 7 games. This season, I don't know what's going to happen. We have a ton of injuries, and Edmonton's just rolling through people. So 3-1-1. The Golden Knights were to finish off March, the last 5 of March. The one overtime loss was to the Sharks, I believe. So far in April, 5 games through, they're 3-1-1 in April. Also, with a loss to the Predators, another team that's fighting for fighting for the playoffs. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I thought they were. I don't know. I don't have them written down here. Anyway, so with the loss to the Predators and a shootout loss to Dallas today, like I said, so the last 10, 6-2-2, that's good. The seemed like the Golden Knights are just rolling right along like they have pretty much all season, and nobody's really thought they'd be here, especially with all their injuries and Robin Leonard with petting his snakes or whatever the hell he's doing with the snakes. Doing a Broadway show with his snakes or something like that. All the issues that he has with that and his injuries and stuff. And, you just figured they were going to go downhill right away with their goaltending, and it's been anything but. So you have Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill, a couple of young guys there, in the net. Logan Thompson, a rookie, I'm not sure about Aiden Hill, and absolutely killing it. Then Logan Thompson gets hurt, and then Aiden Hill gets hurt. So then you have Brossoit. They bring Jonathan Quick in from the Columbus via the LA Kings, and Jonathan Quick does better for the Golden Knights than he was for the Kings, and Brossoit has been playing well. They brought up Yuri. I said his name last 2 weeks ago. I can't think of it. Yuri Patera, I think it is. Yuri Pantera. I went Yuri Pantera. He played well also, but they sent him back down to the minors. Aiden Hill's getting healthier. He was just loaned out to the minors. I'm not sure which affiliate it was, but he's coming back, and so you'd expect him back for a playoff push possibly. Logan Thompson's getting healthier. So they're looking like they're getting healthy in the right spots here at the right time. James says my New York Rangers with Patrick Kane will win the cup, and I like the Rangers coming out. It's a very tough East out there with the Bruins and the Carolina Hurricanes and stuff like that. But I do like the Rangers. They've been playing really, really well since the trade deadline with Patrick Kane and Verstegen. It's my favorite name to say now. With Verstegen in the net. If you watch past shows, you know what I'm talking about. I was doing a thing like a Wayne's World. Whenever I hear Verstegen's name, I think a Wayne's World. You have to see the movie to understand the reference. But Eileen says Vegas best team in the Western Conference. No, I don't think they are. I think the Edmonton Oilers are the best team in the Western Conference. But you can't argue with the Vegas Golden Knights not being the best team. They've been the best team since pretty much day one. I think the Kings overtook them maybe once in the West for a couple games, and that's it. So almost the whole season, the Golden Knights were the best in the Pacific, and they pretty much had a stranglehold on the West for the last like 2.5 months. Dan says LGR. I don't know. Is that Let's Go Rangers? Maybe. I don't know what LGR is. Logger. Canes lost 5 in a row. Yeah, I did see that. The Canes were kind of struggling a little bit. They were sitting at the 2 or 3 seed. I can't remember where the Canes were. I thought they were the 2 seed. Dan says the Rangers 3 points out of first, 2 points back in New Jersey. And New Jersey, who were they playing? They were playing Bruins, weren't they? I think they were playing the Bruins tonight. I'm not sure what's going on there. Now it's who will they play? Canes or New Jersey, or maybe catch Canes if they lose out and New Jersey does. Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple games left. I know the Golden Knights have 2 games left against a home and away with Seattle, the Kraken. And so there's not a whole lot left, but there's still some questions with the seeding. James says, just call him Igor. I'm going to call him Verstegen. I like saying Verstegen. So I also like saying Igor. So, I mean, that all around, that's a kick-ass name. I might have another kid. I'm going to talk to the wife so we can have another kid so we can name him Igor Verstegen Fry. That's how much I enjoy that name. Eileen says, boo the Boston Bruins. Dan, Rangers got to win out. Then they're hot. They're playing well, so they absolutely can win out. You can check Dan out on Mondays, Joystick Junkies, and Fridays, the Big Blue Power Hour, talking New York Giants football, and Joystick Junkies talking video games type stuff and all that good gaming stuff. So make sure you check them out. Check all of our shows out. While you're checking our shows out, make sure you check out Monkey Cold Coffee, all their products on monkeycoldcoffee.com. Like I said, they have a new product coming out very soon, sometime here in April. Their bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, very, very good. I tried the cold brew. Very good. So make sure you check that out. They also have some rum cake on there. monkeycoldcoffee.com. Make sure you use the promo code OOTB Sports for a discount at checkout. Dan says New Jersey 2, New York Rangers 2, Canes 3 games left. Yeah, it's and like I said that the Canes. Well, you said it. The Canes have been struggling, and I've seen the interweb told me the Canes were struggling also, and they've pretty much been the second seed the whole season too. The Canes have been good all season. Now this is the shitty time where you want to start playing bad, and you want to go into the playoffs hot. And if you're going to go into the playoffs on a slump, I mean that's not good at all. So if the Rangers can get in there on a heater, you just never know. Dan, yep, on Monday the Joystick Junkies, yep, 8 p.m. I believe. So next topic, the standings. So we got the standings here at the Pacific Division, and we have the Golden Knights at 107 points. The Edmonton Oilers right behind them, nipping at their heels, 105. Like I said, the Golden Knights have 2 games left. I'm not sure what the Oilers have. They might have 2. It's either going to be 2 or 3. 2 or 3 games left. They're at 105 points. The Kings at 100 points, so they pretty much they have no hope of catching the Golden Knights for the top seed there, unless they have a game in hand over the Golden Knights. I'm not sure. Then you have the Kraken at 96 points. Those are the 4 teams out of the Pacific that have clinched playoff spots. And then you have Calgary sitting back at 89 points, fighting for the last wild card spot in the West. So overall in the West, we're looking at the Golden Knights 107, Edmonton 105, Dallas Stars, who just tied who beat the Golden Knights in overtime in a shootout tonight. They're at 102. Colorado, they've been super hot, defending champions. They're at 100 points. LA at 100 points. Minnesota 98, Seattle 96, and then fighting for the last spot, you have Winnipeg and Calgary, both with 89 points. So it's coming right down to the wire with seeding and with who's going to get in, especially in the West. I think I don't know. Calgary's been playing pretty good from what I watched them play against the Kings, and they look good, and it seems like they fell back a little bit, but now they're starting to ramp up. They're starting to get hot at the right time. Winnipeg has been really mediocre lately, so there's a pretty good chance that you can see Calgary in there. They were a playoff team last year. So the way it sits right now, the bracket breaks down. Your 3 seed playing your 7 seed, so it'd be Dallas versus Seattle. Your 4 seed playing your 6 seed would be Colorado versus Minnesota. Your 1 seed versus your 8 seed would be the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Jets, and your 2-5 would be Edmonton and the Kings. Like I said, a rematch from last year's playoffs. And with the Edmonton going in the way they are, it'd be a tough series to win. It'd definitely be an uphill battle. So the other notes I have here on the Golden Knights before I get off topic here with the Golden Knights. Like I said, Logan Thompson's starting to get healthy. Let's see if they get him back for the playoffs. Aiden Hill, like I said, was loaned to the minor league affiliate, possibly to get some playing time before he can come back. Mark Stone he's been out for 36 games with a back injury. He's progressing and getting ready, so there is a chance you can see possibly Mark Stone back in the playoffs. He's pretty much he's their most natural goal scorer. It's kind of a bummer that he's been out for so long. He's been out since January, basically. So, out a long time. They've played very, very well without him. So, it's a hell of a team. That the Golden Knights are very resilient. I'll give them all the credit in the world. A very, very resilient team. So we got James, Kane, and Panarin, the bread man on. Same line now with the Rangers. Won 3 cups with the Blackhawks. Yeah. The Blackhawks, they had a hell of a team. Years back when Kane was younger. Dan says he hates the brackets. 1 through 8 was better. I don't understand the hockey brackets. Like I was reading up on it because I'm like I know it's not a simple 1 through 8. There's like there's the top two from this, the top two from that. And, they get a home ice advantage, and then the three it's like Panarin is with Tarasenko 5v5. Dan saying Quick can get hot too. He can, but so the one thing that kind of got under my skin when the Golden Knights played the Kings. So like I said, I was watching the Golden Knights broadcast of it for a little bit before I started listening to the Kings radio announcers. They were talking about how since the trade, Korpisalo was 5-2-1, and Jonathan Quick was also 5-2-1. But they didn't get into the important parts of it, like save percentage and goals against. Now, granted, Korpisalo had an absolutely awful game against the Golden Knights here. He only had 10 saves out of 15 shots, which is absolutely terrible. But take that out of the equation. Korpisalo's save percentage was like 915, 920. And his goals against were the mid twos. Where then you look at Jonathan Quick's, his save percentage was like 890, 880, and his goals against were close to over 3. So I mean, it's not apples to apples. It's he was giving up 3 goals a game, and and then the one game he gave up more than that. I think he gave up 5 or 6, and it's not apples to apples. With Korpisalo, every game he played except for the last one, he gave up 2 goals or less. So they really, I didn't really like that. It's like, yeah, come on. If you're going to say it, show the whole stat line. As much as I love Jonathan Quick, I really do. I've been a King fan a long time. Like if you've watched the show in the past, I've said I've been a King fan. There was a bit of a hiatus after the lockout. I kind of lost interest in hockey because one, it was just hard to find on TV. Yeah, it was just, and two, I had other things going on in my life, being 21 and stuff like that. So, what goes on around there, 21, 22, 23. Now I'm getting back into hockey. Of course, I know who Jonathan Quick is and stuff. He was, absolute stud in the 2012 Stanley Cup. And, he also won a 2014 Stanley Cup with the Kings. And, one day he's going to have a statue outside the Staples Center. So it just like Dustin Brown does. So his number will be up in the rafters as well. But it's not apples to apples what they're trying to compare. Dan says it's crap. LOL. Kings can make a run too, maybe. They have the talent too, but we're very, very injured right now. Very injured. We can get Fiala back and and maybe Mikey Anderson, maybe we can turn things around. But right now we're kind of limping into the playoffs. But I do like Edmonton. Like I said, I like them making it to the the Stanley Cup Finals. The Golden Knights, absolutely. I know Big Mike on the 4for4 Locker Room podcast. He likes Dallas from the West making it to the finals. Colorado's hot right now too. So there's quite a few teams in the West that you could see making a run at it. But legitimately, I can see the Golden Knights or the Oilers making a really good run at it, especially with the Golden Knights getting healthy. The Oilers just a freaking machine right now. James says Rangers coach took Golden Knights to finals in their inaugural season. All right, so I've talked about this a couple times on this show. I've asked Vegas Rob, we could never really figure it out. Why'd they get rid of their coach, the Golden Knights? Their inaugural season, they went to the finals. They didn't win, but still, they went to the freaking Stanley Cup Finals in their first season of existence. And I think it was like 2 seasons later, he's fired. I don't understand that. They made it to the finals. They made it to the playoffs the next season. And I feel like they weren't doing well early in the next season, and he was fired. But I could be way wrong. I could be off on that, but it just doesn't make sense. Dan says kid line been great lately. And also that's Kako. Just looking at these names, it makes me want to take my tongue out. That's Cockle. Shittle, Cheadle, I don't know how to say it, and hang on, Lafreniere. I can't say it either. Even with taking a sip, we'll have to spell that out phonetically next time. Panthers fired him too. I wonder what's up with that. I wonder what's maybe he's harassing the secretaries or something. I don't know. Usually there's some sort of story with it. But moving on here, we have one last thing to talk about. A possibility of the Angels going to Sin City. I've heard rumblings before about the Angels, that their owners. I don't know their names, but before, I guess it was like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe even sooner than that, they were looking to sell the team, and I guess they didn't get any offers that they deemed worthy of their their Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or whatever the hell they're called. So they decided not to sell. But I know they're looking for a new stadium, and I've heard a couple people talking about I spelled Angels wrong. It says Angles. I just seen that. Anyway, that bothers the hell out of me now. So yeah, the Angels. There's a possibility the Angels could be the ones coming to Sin City instead of the A's. I mean, the A's probably need it more, but the Angels, they have the star power right now. It depends on if they can keep Ohtani or not, but they have the star power right now that hey, you want that team in your stadium. The Athletics, you don't want them anywhere near your stadium. You don't want them selling hot dogs outside of your stadium, let alone playing baseball inside of it. The Angels, you open the doors wide, say, yeah, come on in. Come on. You got Trout, Ohtani, Rendon, and stuff like that. It's they got some stars on that team. Rendon trying to fight fans and stuff like that. That'll put asses in the seat right there. There it is. Angels, not Angles. Angels. Goddamn proofreader. Where fired him. So that was very interesting when I heard that. That was a possibility that the Angels were possibly looking into moving to Vegas. That's very intriguing. So we'll have to wait and see what if anything else comes out of that or not. So yeah. So that's all I got on that anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and play our show and sponsor video here. So make sure you stay tuned and check that out. I will be back in a little bit over 1 minute. 1 minute and 25 seconds. I'll be right back. So there's our shows and sponsors. I put the spectacles back on because I can't see crap. And I'll tell you what, everything. So I take them off. It's blurry, clear, blurry, clear. So I should just wear them. I hate the glare. You see the glare? It's pissing me off. Something fierce. But yeah. So it's. I think I'll keep them on. I can read it. I can read better with it. So. James says, "Tell me my St. Louis Cardinals will do something this baseball season." I do believe if James, if you watch, I do every other Wednesday. I do the Bat Cave. So before the season started, I did a couple episodes where I broke down each division in the league, and I gave my thoughts as to where they would finish in their a range of what I think games they'd win. I don't remember how many games I thought the Cardinals were going to win, but I do believe I picked them to finish first in the Central. It's going to be a hell of a race with them, the Brewers, and I think the Cubs are going to surprise a lot of people. The Cubs made some really interesting moves this past season. So check out the Bat Cave for some baseball talk there. I of course talk the Mets. I'm a Mets fan, but I also talk all Major League Baseball. Whatever kind of comes up, or if somebody comments something, I try to go off of that. And also on Tuesdays, our new show, Extra Innings, is all Major League Baseball. So that's another a really good baseball show on there. But yeah, so check those shows out. Extra Innings, 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, and then of course the Bat Cave. I do that 10 a.m. on Wednesdays, and that gets pretty interesting because that's after night shift, and well past my bedtime, and things get a little bit loopy then. So it's I have a lot of fun doing the Bat Cave. It gets really interesting. So a lot of goofiness going on there. But I love doing this show too. I love doing all these shows. It's a lot of fun. I love it when you guys comment and make things so much easier on me. It's a lot of fun. It's like I'm having a conversation with friends. Dan says, "Great show." Thank you, Dan. He also says they made him get his own ride home like mid-season. Yeah, and I think I remember Rob saying that. Eileen says, "Boo, it's over already." Sorry, Eileen. I probably could go another 40 minutes talking about nonsense, but nobody wants to hear that. But again, one more time, Monkey Cold Coffee. Here, let me put it up here for you real quick. You see that? There we go. So check out Monkey Cold Coffee. Help them out. Use our promo code OOTB Sports for I think it's 10% off. Try their stuff out. Shoot them a review then on Facebook or Google, and make sure that out of the box. Make sure you tell them the Out of the Box Sports sent you. The Bat Fry. And also, so like I said, we have a new sponsor coming up here very soon. Probably sometime this week, we'll announce who it is, and we'll go from there. And really excited about, like I said, really excited what they could do for us, and I hope they're excited as to what we can do for them. So yeah, that's all I got this week on the Vegas sports scene. Thank you everybody for tuning in, checking it out. Thank you for making it interesting for me, and I hope I made it interesting for you. So make sure you, check me out this Wednesday, 10 a.m. Check all of our other shows out. 10 a.m. is the Bat Cave on Wednesday. Again, next Saturday, I'll be back with the Vegas sports scene with your Raider talk. Next Saturday, I'll have some special guests on. I'll have the hosts from the Vegas Fever podcast. They have great knowledge into the Vegas Golden Knights, much more than I have into the Vegas Golden Knights. So we'll talk some playoffs. By that time, the season will be over. The playoffs start April 17th. The show date is April 15th. So we'll be able to talk about the Golden Knights playoff hockey and stuff like that. And we'll also, maybe we'll dive into some of the other series, and maybe I can get a prediction out of them who they think is going to win what. So next Saturday, special show. It's going to be on a little bit earlier. I think we're shooting for 8 p.m. So make sure you stay tuned and look for that time. But I'm like 99.9% positive It's going to be 8 p.m. next Saturday with the Vegas Fever podcast. And I'm really excited to have them on the show and chat with them there. Check them out on YouTube or Spotify, but I like checking them out on YouTube. So I love watching them. They're a lot of fun. They have great interactions with each other. It's a husband and a wife, and it's just I get a kick out of them. I love them, and like I said, great knowledge with the Vegas Golden Knights, and also they talk a lot of Running Rebel stuff. If you're into UNLV basketball or whatever, men's and women's, so a lot of good stuff there. So check them out. Like I said, next Saturday they'll be on the show. One more comment here. James says my teams are Raiders, Rangers, Cardinals. But I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Figure that out. You know what, James? Same exact way. I live in basically middle of Pennsylvania almost. It's 2 hours from Philly, 2 hours from New York City. I think 4.5 hours from Pittsburgh. But Washington D.C. is just 2 hours away. Well, I'm a Raiders fan. Originally when I became a Raiders fan, they were the Los Angeles Raiders. So I was a Raiders fan. I'm a LA Kings fan and a New York Mets fan. So nothing Pennsylvania, besides the Pitt Panthers for college. But that's like I said, that's a little bit different. I don't watch a whole lot of college football, but that's what makes it fun. It makes it interesting. So you don't always have to follow your hometown team. It's who you click with. You know what I mean? Maiko says he's in between fights right now. He's a Cowboys fan who lived in Philly for 32 years. So he got beat up regularly. Every day, he had to run home from school, and kids are chasing him, throwing eggs at him. Maiko, you suck. You're a Cowboys fan. We like the Eagles. Stuff like that, But poor Maiko. It's kids stealing his lunch money. Cowboy fan doesn't need to eat. Stuff like that. That's bullshit. I feel bad for Maiko. I just picture little Maiko running up the street. Those Eagle fans chasing him wearing his little starter cowboy jacket. Your Troy Aikman jersey, probably. Or Emmitt Smith, or Michael Irvin. Poor Maiko. Maiko said they stole his rice. Says, Michael, you don't need rice. Get out of here. Go Eagles. So that's all I got for tonight's show. Thank you, everybody, for checking it out. Make sure, like I said, make sure you tune into all of our other shows, especially next Saturday, a special Vegas sports scene with the Vegas Fever podcast. And I'll see you guys then. Go Knights, go, and just win, baby.